This is my final project for the class, the capstone. Um, the first part is a research project called Food of the Mediterranean. First off, we have Egyptian hummus. This dish is traditionally made from garbanzo beans, garlic, vinegar, and a combination of different spices to give it a little bit of a spicy kick. Um, the earliest found source was from the 13th century in a cookbook that was created by the Egyptians. Originally, the dish is from Egypt and spread throughout the Mediterranean and has since been reinvented by each of the different Mediterranean countries. Um, Hummus is also depicted in many Egyptian pieces of art and is also a staple of their religious ceremonies and offerings. It's a huge dish in Egyptian culture. Next is Greek pita and olive oil. They kind of just go together because you use olive oil to create pita, and you also put olive oil on top of pita when it's done, if it's done traditionally. Originally, pita bread and olive oil originated in the Middle East. They were brought over to the Mediterranean and were introduced to the Greeks not long after they were created, and soon became two of the biggest items in the country. Olive oil was used to please the Greek gods and was accepted as offerings and was even used as a form of currency when the people were being taxed. Pita bread was a huge staple in the diet of Greek people and was the most well known bread and still is today. Both food items can be seen depicted in various pieces of Greek art, especially art depicting large ceremonies or feasts. Next is goat cheese from Spain and Cyprus. Manchego cheese originated in the south central part of Spain, made in La Mancha, hence its name. The cheese is aged in natural caves for about 2 months before it's ready to be eaten. Often the cheese is depicted in Spanish still life paintings due to its association with rural life in La Mancha. Halloumi is a salty and tangy cheese originated from the island country of Cyprus, included in the Mediterranean. Because of its texture, it's best eaten grilled or fried because when it's heated, it doesn't melt. This cheese is really big in the people's diet and in their society and is made from Mouflon sheep of the region. And it's an honored cheese, and there's even a festival to celebrate it. And this is the most depicted cheese in Mediterranean paintings. Next is the Roman olives and fruit. Romans were the first to introduce fruits to Europe. All the fruits that we see in the Mediterranean now were introduced by the Romans. Most importantly of these were the olives, though. Romans also brought fruits from the Middle East, such as pomegranates, pears, and figs. The fruit was very important to the Roman people and served as a huge part of religious activities and offerings. Often, fruit is depicted in Roman paintings as filler for the background. Most commonly, pomegranates are actually used to serve as a reminder of fertility. Olives were a large part of Roman culture, probably one of the most important. After being introduced, large plots of land were dedicated to orchards for olive trees, and they are best known as religious offerings. Also, fun fact, olive leaves were used as crowns to give to the victors of the Olympics as well. And next is part 2, the discovery part of my final project here. After all that research I did, I decided to arrange a charcuterie board and create some of the dishes from the Mediterranean. First is the hummus. I used a food processor and ingredients such as garlic, garbanzo beans, vinegar, paprika, tahini, salt, cumin, and za'atar to create this hummus. Step 2 was the vegetables. I washed and prepared each vegetable and then carefully put them on the board and arranged them. Next was the fruit, like I had mentioned: figs, pomegranates, pears, olives, all big parts of Mediterranean culture. So I took those and also arranged them on the charcuterie board. And finally, um, this meat is Italian, so also part of the Mediterranean. Also, a big part of Mediterranean history was the meat, but lesser known than the fruit, the vegetables, and things like hummus, because the Mediterranean people ate a lot more vegetables and fruit than they did meat. They were usually a vegetarian type of people. So for the meat, I use capicola, bruschetta, and salami. And last, here is my little board, and it's got the pomegranate, the pear, the figs, 2 different types of cheeses, olive oil, hummus, tomatoes, a bunch of different little things on there, and then little slices of pita bread to dip into the hummus. And that's my board.